Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Terror Express. I'm your host, Jason Bradford. Today we are talking to psychic Cortney Hartley.
Hi.
So Cortney, I understand that you're able to communicate with the great beyond here. Tell us a little bit about your abilities.
So I can communicate with spirit, the other side, which means I can communicate with past loved ones and people of other dimensions, I guess you can say.
When did you realize that you had this ability? What was your first experience with it when you knew that you were able to do such a really cool thing?
I was about 7 years old, and I was in my bedroom with my friend, and there was this apparition of my grandmother starting to form, and it was right behind my friend, and it scared the shit out of me. And I was like, girl, run. And she was petting a dog, and she looked like my grandma after I realized what it was, but I was scared.
What did your friend say? Did your friend see this?
She said, what is it? Because no, it was right behind her. So
she just took your word for it and bolted right out of the room.
Yeah, we just ran.
Kind of like scared shitless. She trusted you when you said run. She ran.
Yeah, she ran.
Are you still friends with this person today?
Somewhat.
Does she ever contact you and say, hey Cortney, I need some advice on so and so? Have you seen or heard from this person that's left us? How are they doing? Anything like that?
Probably like 2 years ago.
So this is a person who, did you scare this person away with your ability, or did you just kind of drift apart? Like,
I don't think it really fazed her.
No?
Because I didn't even know what was going on at the time. So
when did you realize it was your grandmother? You said you were terrified first, and then you realized
after. Because I didn't know, because I'm like seeing this apparition just like forming. And then after I fully seen it and I concepted what it was, like a ghost, we like booted out of there real quick. And she had a dog in her hand, and she was just waving and smiling at me. But I felt like I needed to run because it was scary looking at first, and I didn't know.
Right. Once you knew who it was were you still scared because she was a ghost? Or were you comforted because it was?
I was comforted because I knew that it was my grandmother.
Well, that's good. Have you seen her again since?
No, I think that kind of turned off my ability for a while to communicate.
Because it scared you so much?
Because I got scared from it, and I was like, okay.
Do you think that may have been your grandmother's coming to tell you, say, hey, I'm at rest, I'm at peace, I'm back with my dog again?
Of course, yeah.
I wonder why she decided to show herself at that moment when your friend was in the room. Did she have any connection to that friend? Has she ever met that friend?
You know the friend.
Which one is? What's your friend's name?
Emma.
Emma. Oh, I know. I see where the 2 years have come. What is your most terrifying experience with the supernatural? Something that really made your blood run cold? There's
a few of them. So this one I'm going to get out of the way. It's not like super scary, but it was still kind of, chilling. We're at my old apartment, and I was chilling with my friends, and I was like, my apartment is haunted. And they're like, oh, I don't believe you, no. And then my friend said, if this apartment is haunted, I want you to slam the door shut. Not even a second later, the door slammed shut.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
And then the other time I was in my boyfriend's basement, and we were watching this haunting documentary, and they said a D-word's name. And
D-word, what's D-word? You can.
I don't say those out loud. I don't say the name out loud. It rhymes with semen.
It rhymes with semen?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you now. I know what the D-word is.
And it was saying its name, like in the documentary. And later that night, I seen this tall black figure, and it was like saying my name. It kept saying Cortney. And I'd see it, like it wouldn't like hide. Like when I look at it, usually they go away. It's like a quick apparition and go away. But this thing was standing there. And then later on, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go to bed. Maybe it's just my thoughts playing tricks on me. So I go to bed, and I go to cuddle Brendan, and I feel a hand, like an old lady's hand, kind of.
Like a grandma's hand. Was it,
Yes.
do you think this could have been your grandma again? But even though
No, I didn't feel no positive experience, positive energy from that.
maybe she was just coming to you in a different state since she scared you the first time.
Yeah, well, after that though, I had to go pick up his sister from a bus stop. And it was about 3 hours before I had to get her from the bus. And I was in his mom's house, just like watching the dogs and stuff out there at work. And I was like, this house still feels weird. Like it was the next day and it felt weird. Like it felt so off. The energy was so off. And I was thinking to myself, if that pan flies off that damn stove, I am bouncing out of this house. And within 5 minutes, that pan went flying off that stove. And
Well,
I'm like,
maybe-
okay, I'm going to sit outside until I had to go get his sister off the bus.
Maybe it was a little form of telekinesis where you can control the image with your thought.
Yeah,
Or
with
maybe
the energy.
when you said with that
It's
pan fell,
energy manipulation.
did you say it out loud or did you think it?
I thought it.
Okay, and maybe something was in tune and picked up
Yeah.
on it. Maybe
Well,
it was the
spirit
semen.
can-
Maybe the semen got things moving in the kitchen for
Yeah.
you.
Well, spirit can hear the vibrations of your thoughts. So, which is how I communicate is through telepathically. So it's like right in my ear.
Nice. That's yeah. So you gotta really be careful what you think at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I've had similar experiences where I was with somebody on my 17th birthday and we were on a Ouija board. We don't do Ouija boards now, but
No.
when I was 17, we did Ouija boards. And I said, all right, if there's something here, give me a sign. And I specifically said, make all my birthday cards topple over, and they were on top of an entertainment center. And I may have told you this story before, but it was second half of September. The weather was a little bit chilly. The doors were all closed. There was no air circulation. And nothing happened when I said, hey, let's make these cards fall to show me that you're really here. So we put the board away. We watched TV. A couple hours later, right at 12:01 in the morning, just after midnight, every card just toppled over.
Mm-mm.
You ask for a sign and you're talking to these entities, whether it be through open-mindedness, whether it be telepathically,
Yeah, you're
or through
opening the
Ouija
door for
boards,
anything.
you're giving them license to be
Giving
around
them
you
power.
and to manipulate things to happen.
Yep.
A lot of people don't realize that. Just talking about it right now, the two of us
And manipulate and give it power.
yeah, absolutely can give them power. If someone you knew came up to you, or even if it's a stranger who knew your abilities came up to you and said, hey, I'm really interested in learning this ability that you have. I think I may be able to hone in on it. I've had a couple experiences, but I'm not really strong with it. What advice would you give them to learn how to really know how to hone this craft and to be able to use it to their advantage?
I would tell them to do a lot of shadow work and to do a lot of meditation, because you need to raise your vibration in order to communicate with them, because they're going to lower theirs a little bit so you can meet them in the middle. And
So
that's
when you say vibration, what does that mean? Is that
there's
like-
there's two kinds of vibrations. There's higher vibration, which is people that are good, and people who like commit suicide, who are on drugs, who kill people, all that, they're on a lower vibration.
So the negative and the dark personas have a different vibration than those who are
Correct.
good, light, shine a
Yes.
brighter light, I guess is what I'm trying to
And
get
I
at.
won't read for anybody if they have any negative.
So how do you know going in, let's say you see a stranger and they want you to read for them, how do you know if they have a negative or a positive vibe?
Auras. They'll show me like color.
When you
Oh,
say
then
they,
if
you mean like your spirit guide?
My spirit guides will also communicate with me and tell me if it's good or bad. But mostly it's color. Like this, I did a reading for this one girl and she committed suicide. And she told me, I can't find my grandparents. I don't know where my grandparents are. And I told her, you need to, because on the other side, you still have your spirit guides and they can still help you. I told her, you need to find what was hurting you in the physical world and work on it in the afterlife to get to that higher vibration. Because you're always going to be stuck in that lower vibration if you don't work on getting yourself better.
It's kind of like undercurrents in a body of water, kind of like in a river, how you have different currents. The bottom will have more movement, more pressure, whereas the top is a little bit
Right.
more lighter, and it's more serene.
And lower vibrations, they still feel pain. And that's why they're stuck here. They're stuck because they don't know where the light's at.
Do you think that might be where reincarnation comes in? Maybe they can keep learning and growing through each life, maybe moving up in their vibrations until they've reached that light level? Or
So
do you think they have to
usually when
solve?
you're on, you have to like go on to like a higher vibration in order to reincarnate.
And when you say when you give readings, do you mean is it like a mental reading, or do you actually use like tarot cards, or do you read
I do
palms?
not use tarot. I do not use a Ouija. I do not use pendulums. It's all from the third eye and from telepathically speaking to me. Sometimes I can see them physically with the my actual eyes, but it's mostly third eye. It's in my mind.
See, I have the ability for psychometry. That's where I hold an item and I can
Hold
get
an item, and then you
I
can
can
get
get
the future.
vibration from that, and I can see the past, and I've seen the future as well doing that. So I have to physically hold something for that to work for me. I guess you can call that my third eye. And then I've also had the experiences where I can be in a place that's had a history, and it's a very strong. It's almost like a place would have a memory. And when I go in there, I can see the memory. I can see faces.
Like a ring. You can see someone getting proposed to if you hold on to someone's ring.
Exactly. Yes. I've gone into a house with one of your aunts, as a matter of fact, asked me to do a reading on one of her houses, and I went in there, and there was the priest in black. Do you remember the priest in black who liked to hang around one of your cousins? And I believe he may still be around from the last.
He's an attachment, yes.
He's an attachment, yes. But I was able to get his past to see what he had done leading up to his ascent into the deeper vibration, into the afterworld, where he committed the murders and where the bodies were, and I would dispose of them. And I confirmed this with your aunt, and going in, she knew the history, and I had no idea, and she confirmed all of it. And she was very emotional with it. Do you seem to get stronger when you're around someone that has the same ability that you have?
Well, I think it's more like if my family members have it as well. But I can read other psychics and they can read me. Like, I can't really communicate with my family. And it's actually harder for mediums to communicate with their own past loved ones because you know so much about them.
Right. That's more of a
harder.
Dream. I think that's
it's more
dream.
You have to do more like you have to get to even a higher vibration to communicate.
Okay. Kind of like you have to be on the same level that they are. And I think that's a lot of times where dreams come into play, because you're more open-minded, because you're relaxed, and you're more attuned to their vibration.
You're more in like a meditative state when you're sleeping.
Exactly, like you said earlier, to meditate, and that's right. a great example of that. When you're with your father and you're walking through a house doing a reading, how is that different than being as a sensitive by yourself doing a reading on a house or a location?
So I feel like when I'm with you, I can like pick up on like more of like what they look like from the past. Like before I was even able to communicate with spirit, like when I was with you, we can go into a house and we can like tell them what they looked like, what their profession was, what they died of, what their name was, you know. So
do you remember that house that we did together? I can't remember
my friend Jamie's.
Yes, and I can't remember the grandmother's name. Was it Margaret or
Margaret?
I remember that house had one of the strongest negative vibes that I've ever been in a house. I remember being physically terrified to enter certain areas of that house because I knew something was in there that did not want me in the master bedroom.
Right. In the master bedroom. It was more of a entity in that bedroom, but I feel like the grandmother was trying her hardest to protect whatever was trying to cause them harm.
And I sensed the grandmother in the nursery. I know there.
Yes, that's exactly where I seen
it. And directly below the master bedroom, where I got this massive sense of dread, was the basement, and I could feel I'm going to say hate and evil that was in that master bedroom. I could feel it literally dripping through the floorboards into the basement in that same area. When I went to the basement, I knew I was directly below that bedroom. That's how
Yeah.
strong that was. And
Yeah,
I've
it
never
was very
sensed
strong.
anything as strong as I do whenever I'm with you in a place.
Yeah.
There are certain colors that the human eye cannot see. Ghosts are just one of these colors, and that's why we can't see them, because it's not green, it's not blue, it's not anything to do with the spectrum of colors. It's like a vibration, like you said, the vibration is a color. If you could give that color a name, what would that name be?
I'm not sure.
We're gonna have to think on that one and get back to you on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the colors that they can portray.
Which are?
So in my third eye, they are all different colors. Like each one has a different aura. We're all born with an aura. And in my third eye, they all have different colors and they represent different things. So like, let's say a girl that represents red, it could be that she was very loving. She had a romantic side to her. She loved to like get all dolled up. Like, and somebody like with my actual eyes though, they are grayish white, like as a apparition.
So when you see yourself as an apparition, was that what you said?
What do you mean?
Like, I don't know, when you said you see yourself as an apparition, your eyes are grayish white. Is that what you just said? Kind of like,
No, like when I see like spirit as an apparition, they're grayish white.
Their eyes, they're always grayish white.
Yeah, all their whole body is grayish white, like their whole apparition.
They're kind of drained of color, totally.
Right. But in my third eye, though, they will show me their aura. It's like this spark, like this bright light with color behind it. And it's like, it could be red, purple, blue, green, depending on what their aura was.
I know you said you can't really read your family very well, but if you could see my aura right now, what color would you say it is if you can see it?
I would have to say that yours is probably blue.
Blue? And what does blue mean? Is blue good?
Yeah, blue's good.
Okay.
I think it means that you're like career oriented. You have a big heart. Money's important to you. Yeah. And you also have, and I feel like you are also like an empath in ways, like you feel other people's pain as well.
Yeah, I do. And I don't know if I should say fortunately or unfortunately, but yeah, I do. And I tend to dwell on it a lot.
Yeah.
And I can say the same of you.
Yeah.
You're sensitive. Yeah, you do. You get it from me. So a lot of these things are probably hereditary.
Yeah.
So you're an empath, you're a sensitive, you're a psychic.
Well, so when you're a medium, every medium is a psychic because they can communicate with the past loved ones, and the past loved ones can tell you stuff that's going to happen in the future. But every psychic is not a medium.
I got you. I've heard that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And I don't think I would be considered a medium then, because there is a different when I go in as a sensitive and I can see the past or the future of something, or I can see an image of someone. They're not necessarily communicating with me directly. It's more like they're just sharing something of the past or the future, but they're not. Right. It's not like a conversation they're having with me personally.
Right.
It's almost like a wrong number when you just reach out and dial and call someone and you pick it up and it's like, oh, hey, look who I got, as opposed to dialing a specific number and saying, hey, how you doing, brother? How you doing, sister? You know what I mean? And I think that kind of is the difference. But what terrifies you the most with this ability?
Just getting a bad energy from it, attachment maybe.
How do you make sure that there's no attachment when you're finished? Do you sage?
I sage everything. When I'm doing readings, I don't really get any negative feelings towards anything. Most of them are from love and light and high vibrational. So if I feel a lower vibration, my vibration will also lower, and it's more difficult for me to communicate with them. So if someone commits suicide, it's more difficult for me to even communicate.
I got you. All right. Well, that was going to conclude the first part of our interview. Viewers are going to have to tune in for our second part 2 of this interview here, where we're going to talk about Cortney's involvement in the horror community and her love for horror films and what got her started on that path. So thank you for tuning in to part 1 of our interview with Cortney Hartley. And we look forward to seeing you on the second part of this interview on Terror Express. I am Jason Bradford, and thank you, Cortney, for joining us. We'll see you again on part 2.
See you later.